Just gonna give him a round of applause.
Yes. Good.
Master-san.
You sold the game and bought yourself some chips. It's Tuesday, 19th July, 2016. It's time now for episode 67 of the Lazy Couch Podcast. We're here to give you a weekly dose of tech news, gadgets, pop culture, and all things geeky. Broadcasting all the way from the TLC studios here in Sydney, Australia. My name is Kelvin Lee, and I want Mario Kart Live.
My name is Chef Kim, and up Cronulla! 14 in a row, baby. NRL I'm talking about.
I know. You jinxed it, by the way.
I jinxed it?
Yeah, you did.
No, yeah. I keep on jinxing it every week, and apparently, they keep on winning. So I read this week that 19 is the all-time record, going back through to 1908.
So because I know nothing about this, what's the winning formula? What's changed?
Just a great team, man. Just a great team,
it's
great
all
spirit.
coming together.
They're playing amazingly. I signed up to be a member today.
Wow. Yeah.
So just to get grand final tickets, basically. So yeah. Hopefully October, long weekend. I think we'll be there.
Yeah, you will.
Right.
You will.
How's your week been?
Been good. Yeah, not a lot happening. Just a lot of work stuff. We watched Ghostbusters, so we'll talk about that in a sec. How was yours?
Ghostbusters, and I watched the first episode of Mr. Robot, second season. There's a 2-hour first episode that's just went online, I think Thursday last week, I think. So you haven't seen it yet, right? So,
no, I haven't.
Yeah, I won't sort of go into it. It's a different sort of feel, I reckon.
Yeah? Should we cover it next week, maybe?
Possibly. Yeah. It's hard to talk about, right? Because if you haven't seen the first season, we highly recommend that you do.
Yeah.
It's 10 episodes only, and if you got a whole sort of day, it's on Presto in Australia. I think you can probably get it on Foxtel as well.
Yeah. So definitely, it's one of the surprises of the last big season of TV shows. So it's definitely one worth watching if you want something to binge on for the weekend. And this is something we need to get out of our system, right? So we were debating if we wanted to cover more Pokemon Go. I think we can't avoid it only because there's just everyone jumping on board now. So we're just going to quickly read out some headlines just to sort of give you a quick update on what's happened since the last time we covered Pokemon Go. Number one,
which was last week, by the way.
Which was last week, yeah. Number one, Yelp has announced you can now filter search results to show places with nearby Pokestops. So, instead of going for the best coffee, the cheapest price, the best reviews, you want to go to a coffee place with the most number of Pokestops.
30 meters to the latest Pokestop.
Yeah. Yes. I know. That's going to be happening a lot. I think everyone's going to try and jump on board.
I was listening to Tom Merritt this morning, and he was like, there's a cafe down the road from them where, if you actually sit in the cafe and, have a coffee, he's actually close enough to 3 other Pokestops. So that's the perfect place.
Yeah. The other one is a quick sort of look at the founder of Niantic's. His name is Roger James Hamilton. So when anything goes big, the first thing I get on Facebook is, these did you know type things. So I'm just going to quickly go through it. So everyone is claiming that Pokemon Go is an overnight success, but when you think about it, it's actually taken John Hank. His name is not Roger James. The guy who wrote the story was Roger James. His name is John Hank. It's taken him 20 years to create Pokemon Go.
Hanky?
Hanke. So it's Hanke.
Yes.
So, number one, in 1996, he created the first MMO called Meridian 59. So he sold that game, and because his real big passion is mapping the world. In 2000, he launched a thing called Keyhole. Was a way to link maps with aerial photography, so it's kind of cool. In 2004, Google bought Keyhole, and with John's help, they turned it into Google Earth.
Yes.
I didn't know that. From 2004 to 2010, John ran the Google Geo team, creating Google Maps, Google Street View. Then he collected a team from this Geo team that would later create the Pokemon Go.
Right.
In 2010, he launched Niantic Labs as a startup funded by Google to create a game layer on maps. He sort of explains why he called it Niantic as well. So Niantic is the name of a whaling ship that came up during the gold rush and through a variety of circumstances got dragged on shore. So this happened with other ships too. Over the years, they basically just built over these ships. Right. So you can stand on top of them and you wouldn't know it's there. So that's why they call it Niantic. In 2012, he created Ingress, which is the game that Pokemon Go is built on. In 2014, they teamed up with Google to, come up with a joke on April Fools, hence, Pokemon Go. And then they decided to build it for real because there was so much popularity, and that's all history, as they say.
20 years. Wow.
20 years. So that's John's story.
Mm-hmm.
I follow the Sydney Opera House on Facebook, and they opened up the forecourt at the front for 2 hours for people just to play Pokemon. And
I think they had like a meet-up walking thing, didn't they? Like
I think so.
Yeah.
So even the Sydney Opera House is, getting in on the action.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a really cool stat. So GameSpot has also sort of looked at some data, and Pokemon Go takes up nearly half of all mobile gaming purchases in a single day. So now they're making money. And this is a bit of Onion news. So Onion news is basically news that is fake. I came across this really cool story of now you can install Mario Go-Kart Live on your sat-nav and drive, So basically you can see coins in front of you, you can collect them, you can collect these power-ups and shoot them at different cars and just cause car accidents everywhere.
So Hanky will probably make that into reality because, the original concept was a joke anyway, so this is going to happen.
You never know.
Yeah, so I got a couple of stories as well. We'll, probably taken 5 minutes too long to talk about Pokemon already, but because I was thinking this, and a lot of this has been mentioned as well in other sort of media outlets. But is Pokemon Go a massive CIA surveillance operation?
Oh.
It's probably more like NSA actually, because like when you actually throw the balls at the Pokemons, it actually takes a photo. Did you notice that?
No.
So I'm assuming that goes somewhere. So the theory is that, the NSA is wanting to get photos of indoors.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I'll be throwing balls at home. And it's always taking the photo of like my kitchen because I'm always lying in the sofa there. So,
wow. It's a cheap way of doing it.
It is, yeah.
You get everyone to send you stuff.
What's the other one? So there's a glitch that turns a seaside South Korean city into the holy land of Pokemon Go. Do you know about this one?
No.
So apparently the way they've mapped the world of Pokemon within the actual environment, it's into sort of these what sort of rhombus kind of shapes.
Right.
So the South Korea, like if you're not familiar with the map of South Korea, it's sort of the southern half of this peninsula.
Yep.
And the rhombus is sort of like slanted.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to describe this in audio format. I'm probably doing a pretty poor job, but there's a little corner of it that doesn't quite fit in with that map.
Yeah.
So because North Korea is like kind of like blind to Google Maps.
Correct.
So apparently that place, is the only place that's open in South Korea. So it's right on the border of South and North Korea. It's called Sokcho, and apparently, people from Seoul. Seoul's about I don't know how many k's that is. Probably about 500 k's away.
Yeah.
There's like all these bus rides going out there, and people are just going crazy.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So it's like a blind spot on Google Maps, and because it doesn't recognize it as part of South Korea, you can download the game.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Well, that's only a part where Pokemon's spawn on a map. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, there was a crazy video that got posted I think a couple of days ago, where in Central Park in New York, I think there was like a massive crowd. There was probably like one of these like group walks that was happening, and someone's kind of noticed that there was a Vaporeon, like one of the Pokemons. It's like a very rare Pokemon, kind of spawned in the middle of the park. So you got like hundreds of people, literally just like zombies, just going towards this spot.
Right.
There were people like in the cars, actually stepping out from the driver's side, and they left the cars there to catch this bloody Pokemon. So the whole world's gone mad.
Yeah, the whole world's gone mad.
Yeah.
There's no hope for us.
Speaking of New York, Ghostbusters.
Yeah. So, I thought we quickly give it, just a quick sort of 30-second review.
Ooh, 30 seconds. Okay, let's go for it.
Only because it was okay for me. At least
it was okay. No, it was pretty shit for me.
Okay, so there were a couple of highlights, and I don't think we'll ruin it for anyone because it's not much of a plot to really go through. I think you sort of expect it going in. A couple of initial thoughts. I thought Kirsten Wiig, Leslie Jones, Kate McKinnon, and Melissa McCarthy.
Yes.
I thought they did a good job. I think they held up the brand really well, only because they're SNL mates, and they sort of carried across the script quite well. Story was kind of empty. The plot was kind of empty. You and I could have wrote it, and that says a lot. But no, I think it had cool sort of CGI. There were a couple of parts. I think it'll make a good 3D movie. But would you rush into? I'd say this is a good plane movie. You know what I mean? Kill a couple of hours in a long flight.
Okay.
But don't expect too much. Do you think this will carry it to Ghostbusters 2? Do you think there's enough to warrant a second or?
So it lost to The Life of Pets, I think, over the weekend.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even the number one movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't a total tank. I think there will be a 2.
Yeah.
I think, just because of the brand, I think overseas as in not Americans, they'll probably flock to it. We watched it with 8 other people.
Yeah.
So the cinema itself was kind of empty for a Saturday night, but that was just entertainment quarter. I think that's just no one really goes there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's in Australia. I think it's doing quite well. So I would say, globally, it's gonna have good reception.
Yeah. So you wouldn't recommend anyone to go watch it?
I wouldn't pay money for it. No, definitely not. Yeah. I just thought it was like a 90-minute long SNL sketch.
Yeah, definitely.
That went like 87 minutes too long. I did actually quite enjoy the first scene with the guy from Silicon Valley and
it started out quite creepy, and I thought they were going to hold that tone all the way through because I was genuinely quite terrified.
Ooh,
yeah,
okay.
But that sort of faded very quick.
Yes, you're grabbing my arm a little bit too tight.
Yeah, I know. I want to hug you. Unfortunately for Paul Feig's new Ghostbusters, it won't be opening in China.
Oh, really? Why
so it's been denied approval to screen in China.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they haven't been given a reason. So the often spoken reason for the ban has been attributed to a ban on supernatural or ghost movies.
Okay.
But given that it hasn't been officially approved, it's kind of opaque right now. No one really knows.
Yeah.
So not good news for Paul and team.
Yep.
We can't really say it's his movie.
You want to this is the quick review. You want to give it a quick potato rating?
I'll give it a 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5. Wow,
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go higher than that. I was going to give it 2.5. So you thought it was okay. You're going to give it 2. I thought it was shit. I'm going to give it 2.5.
Like for me, a 3 is I would spend money to go watch it.
Okay.
If that. So yeah, a 2 and a 3, and let's move on.
All right. So coming up in this episode 67, we're going to be covering the latest news on Nintendo's mini NES, also SoftBank acquiring ARM for $32 billion, and Apple possibly buying a sporting brand. Ooh,
yeah, what could it be? What could it be?
And our big feature later on is going to be Star Wars Celebration in London that happened over the weekend. So on to the news now. All right, so it's a bit of a Nintendo season, isn't it? Yeah, so they're on a bit of a tear. So this came out of nowhere, really.
Yeah, no one saw this coming.
Yeah, so there's a mini NES, Super NES, or is it just NES? The first NES, I suppose.
Yeah.
What does NES stand for again? It's
Entertainment System?
Nintendo Entertainment System? Okay. So it would just kind of take it for granted, like NES, but with no one really knows what it is. So it's going to come out this year, I think. Has the date been announced yet?
Yes, so no.
No, it hasn't.
November 11.
Okay.
November 11 with 30 games.
Yep, and the prices have been announced as well.
Yes,
so that's going to be $60 US or $100 in Australia, which is not too bad. And 50 pounds, is that still valid
50,
after Brexit?
50
Maybe not.
Post-Brexit pounds.
Okay. Right, so it's going to be preloaded with 30 games. I think they've got a list of the 30 games here, but I'm going to have the classics like Super Mario Kart or Super Mario even.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go through the list here.
You're going to have Castlevania, which I think is pretty good.
All right.
You're going to Double Dragon 2, The Revenge.
Oh, I love that game.
Yeah, I know. I'm also looking forward to Final Fantasy. I think Mega Man 2, spent too much time on that. Metroid.
Oh, Galaga.
Oh,
classic. Pac-Man.
Yeah, Ninja Gaiden.
Hang on, these are Nintendo games, are they?
Oh, for the NES.
Okay, right.
Yeah. Zelda 2, Zelda 1,
wow.
all the Super Mario Brothers. So what else is cool about this little thing? It's about the size of your palm, according to this picture here, or this model has a very large hand. You get one controller. You can buy additional controllers for $10. Or, this is the cool part, you can use the classic controller pros, like the old ones, if you still have them. What's more, if you connect the classic controller to the Wii remote, you can use it to play the NES games on Wii U and Wii.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I can't visualize it right now. So it says here, the NES classic controller, when you connect it to the Wii remote, you play the Virtual Console NES games on a Wii U or a Wii. So it looks like the games could be in the controller. Because there's not a lot of, you know what I mean? It's like an SD card. You can now hold like 128
Yeah.
gigabytes.
So it's been announced through Kotaku, I think, during the week, that it's not going to be connected to the internet, so you're not going to be able to, add extra games. It's just 30 games and that's it.
Yeah.
And you can't actually hook up external storage devices either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a good party device for $100. You know, want to hook it up to your large screen TV, play some classic games. But how good is Nintendo now at bringing back some nostalgia and making some money out of us? First it was Pokemon, now it's this. What else do they got in their arsenal? What else are they building?
They've got the new console coming out soon as well.
Yeah.
So
I keep forgetting what it's called. It's not Nexus.
It's got a letter X in it. I think that's what we established last week.
I keep calling it Nexus, yeah. But you know what could be the next big thing? Game Boy. Do something with the Game Boy, because I've seen this thing on Kickstarter where you put your iPhone into this little Game Boy,
covers half the screen.
Yeah, it covers half the screen. It becomes a Game Boy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think if they start selling Game Boy games on like the iOS and Android stores, that's going to be another couple of mil.
Yeah. So Nintendo, whether it's they kind of planned it or not in terms of Pokemon Go, because like they don't actually own Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
They've got a stake in it, a small stake in it, but as a result of it, the shares have gone up by I think 50%.
Yeah, something
since last
ridiculous,
week.
like billions. We're talking billions.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to SoftBank. Yeah, so staying in Japan. So SoftBank is a massive telco, hardware, bit of everything company.
Everything telco.
Bit like a Samsung, would you say, or even
bigger in the sense that they actually sell plans, like mobile phone plans. Samsung doesn't, to my knowledge. So they actually make their own phones. The reason why I know this is years ago, before we had the iPhones and stuff. I remember I was in Japan. I was sitting in a Japanese train, and you would see all these SoftBank phones being able to watch TV, and this was like 2G/3G days before the iPhone. So it's big. Like they're no small company. Probably one of the largest telco companies in the world.
Yeah. So what's the big news with them? They've actually acquiring, or they confirmed that they're going to acquire a UK-based, or not just any semiconductor chip maker, but it's ARM, which is one of the biggest companies in the world, and it's rumored to be around $32 billion US.
Yeah.
Which will make it one of the biggest acquisitions, not just in technology, but in history.
Yeah.
Of everything.
Yeah, and I think what's really smart about ARM is they don't actually make chips. They design chips, and they sell those designs to companies like Samsung and Apple. So you get a lot of large companies, even small ones, that make simple things for the Internet of Things. You know what I mean? They're the leader in these small devices that are connected to the internet.
Yeah. So the figures we're hearing is like 99% of all smart devices out there, like in particular phones, they all have ARM technology or have some sort of ARM reference chipset. Because the Apple, the A9 chips on your phones or your iPads, it's all sort of based on ARM.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to cost Apple too much money to sort of build their own reference design.
And I think they get a cut from every Apple device purchase.
That would be smart.
So that in itself, right?
I think the big gamble here is SoftBank is paying a 43% premium to its closing price. Shares in ARM surged to about £16.78. So they're making a huge bet here. They're actually, increasing their perception of the value of ARM by double almost. So that's nuts. But I think as these phone plans get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, you've got to be banking on something else.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to enter the market now. I mean, if you look at things like Google Fiber, it costs Google nothing to give you such cheap data plans. And if they go to Japan, you know what I mean? It's just going to eat into SoftBank's market. So you know what? Bet on these big things. I think it's a fight or sink type thing. So be quite interesting.
So yeah, it's been a bit of a big month with acquisitions. So Microsoft bought LinkedIn last month for $26.2 billion. I didn't realize it was that high.
Yeah.
We probably talked about it. Dell bought 67. Dell, I think it was 67 billion, right? Buyout of EMC as well. So that's gives you the scale of things over here. Also, what I didn't realize, SoftBank actually owned Supercell.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So we didn't talk about it when it happened a couple of weeks ago, but our favorite game, Clash of Clans or Clash Royale now, was done by Finnish gaming developers called Supercell, and from the looks of it, they were owned by SoftBank or had some sort of partnership there.
Yep.
And now it's owned by Tencent. So they sold that to Tencent for $10 billion.
Well, at least you know what paid for this. So maybe it was all coming. So the owner of SoftBank is Masayoshi Son. He's the chairman and CEO of the Japanese group. There's a cute sort of angle to the story about Brexit. You know what I mean? He says, he's one of the first people to make a big bet on the UK after Brexit. He keeps saying like, this is my big bet.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't sound like he's quite sure, but here's the interesting part. Because it is a leader in chip design, they're quite insulated than many other UK companies because they actually earn in US dollars. So that's really interesting.
Okay.
They're not going to be affected by the currency change.
Yeah.
And to just show you how big SoftBank is, Mr. Sun, who's 58, he first met the ARM CEO, Simon Segars, over a meal in his Silicon Valley house. You want to guess how much that Silicon Valley house cost? $117 million.
Okay.
So that's how big.
Okay.
Yeah, how much he earns.
One of the reasons that he's stating here for this deal is they really want to get into Internet of Things. And I guess given that ARM is in most devices out there, it makes total sense. So yeah, basically, technology is everywhere. Everyone wants to get into it. So SoftBank, look out for them. I think they can compete with the likes of, Microsoft or even Google. Yeah,
because the next big thing is getting into your house, and no one's really cracked it yet. Not Apple, not Microsoft, not Google.
This could supersede Samsung, maybe.
Easy, because there is no one form factor. But now that they own the actual thing that goes into all of this, they don't have to worry about creating their own devices because they're in every device.
Good point.
Great move. Let's hope for the best.
Just going to give him a round of applause.
Yes. Good
Master-san.
You sold the game and bought yourself some chips.
All right. So speaking of other sort of massive companies, well, kind of massive, I suppose, Uber. So Travis Kalanick, who's the much, how would you describe Travis? He's a bit of a much maligned sort of character, isn't he? He said that 2 billion rides have been made on Uber globally in 450 cities. How old is Uber? It's like less than 4 years old.
I was thinking 6 for some reason. I could be wrong.
So he also talked about some of the numbers. So it took 5 years. It took 5 years to reach their billionth trip. 6 months to reach the next billion. So this is 5.5 years on. They've made 2 billion sort of trips from 0 to 2 billion in 5.5 years. Yeah, and apparently the milestone happened while it was 4:16 a.m. GMT time on Saturday, and also in that 1 second, 147 separate Uber rides, including some in Australia, were competing for that 2 billionth. So they're saying like they couldn't really pick out because it all happened within the second. So, yeah.
I like this one. The longest trip they've ever recorded is more than an hour as the rider and driver worked their way across Jakarta because, it's a traffic jam city. The shortest was just going to a pool in China, 3 minutes.
Wasn't there some story about, like, I don't know, there was some emergency and maybe the planes were down and someone had to go from Sydney to Melbourne and they took an Uber?
Are you serious? How much did that
remember
cost them?
That would have cost a lot.
Thousands.
Yeah.
Well, I hope he got a 5-star rating.
All right, so staying on the motoring theme, Apple, there's been a kind of crazy rumor out there this week that Apple may purchase a big sports what?
License, brand?
And this is Formula One racing.
So, why?
Like, well, I mean, we've much talked about Apple. Why doesn't Apple just buy out, the NFL or some of these, big sporting companies because they've got the money for it. So apparently, Formula One has been shopping themselves around. I think Bernie Ecclestone is the head of the F1, and Apple is one of the reported bidders.
What
$6 billion is nothing for them. So
it's nothing. But what would they get? Like,
well, Apple TV. They want some media. They want content.
Okay. Well, I guess when you think of the media rights that way, but they have to run this thing, and F1 is notoriously political. with teams coming in and out, making demands, driver unions and safety issues.
When you buy like an entity like the F1, wouldn't you get all the employees as well?
I hope so. Maybe they'll keep Bernie to continue running the show while they just own the license to it.
What would the operating cost be? I mean, I would have thought like Formula One would have been more than 6 billion. Like I would have thought at least 20, 30.
Yeah, I think this is just the brand, the license, the media rights, maybe.
Okay.
There's got to be running costs to this thing because I know I kind of do follow F1 a little bit, but all I ever hear from F1 news is this is how we're going to cut costs. This is how we're going to cut costs because they want more brands, they want more drivers to come into the program. It's very expensive. At the moment, it's a very elitist type sport. So I don't know. I think they could be also trying to buy some car tech, maybe. If because they're also trying F1E, which is electric. So there could be something there. I don't know.
Well, they're definitely working on the self-driving cars and electric cars, so there's a bit of synergy there. But it's a strange one. But yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. Also, I learned that Apple is developing a reality TV series called Planet of the Apps.
I heard about this. I'm not quite sure what's in it though. What is it about?
I think it's gonna be like somewhat like what is it, Shark Tank?
Oh, really? So
people,
you pitch.
Pitching ideas or like a reality show on building apps.
Tell me, Johnny Ives is one of those guys. Tell me,
he's the judge.
I don't know. Please let it be Johnny Ives. I hope so.
Rounded corner is not round enough.
Go back and make it rounder. So there's not a lot of information.
Get me out of this white room.
Yeah, all it says here, the show. Join us on the search for the next great app in an original series. Those selected will have the chance to receive hands-on guidance from some of the most influential experts in the tech community. And they will be featured placements on the App Store and funding from top-tier VCs. So yeah, if you're a budding developer, go for it. Online applications are now being accepted through Friday, August 26th. So you've got 8 days to make an app. To apply, you must agree to have an iOS, macOS, tvOS, watchOS app in beta or functional state by October 21.
Right. So you can go to planetoftheapps.com to, I think, apply.
Yeah.
I hear there's rumors on the internets.
All right. It's that time of the year. Some more rumors to cover off. A real quick one. So we all know that the Google Note 7 is going to be announced on August 2nd in New York. So we can't wait for that one. We'll definitely cover that. The best thing about Samsung is they always try something quirky every time they release a new phone. This time, it's going to be an iris scanner.
What the? Okay.
Iris scanner. So your retina, iris scanner. So what you do is you simply hold the phone about 25 centimeters away from your face, and then you get both your eyes in a circle that appear on screen, and then ta-da! So the thinking is your iris has 266 traits compared to 40 on your fingerprint.
Oh, I see. So more secure.
So hopefully it's more secure.
Or you have to put it up to your face.
Yeah, or look at it. I don't know. It probably, I don't know. My prediction is it won't work very well.
You got to line it up.
Yeah, look at it. What if the lighting isn't right?
Yeah.
So here's to hoping for more quirky things from Samsung. But go try it. If it works, it's great. If it doesn't, it'll just be another quirky feature.
It might work for if they had like smart glasses or something like that. That would make sense.
Yeah.
To scan your iris, but not really.
Not
with
like
phone.
actually looking in your camera.
I mean, they had the feature with the face recognition, right?
Yeah. It didn't really work.
No, because
you had to look
scrolling.
and move. You had to move
they
back
had
and
the
forth.
scrolling with your eyes thing. What happened with that? What technology was that?
Probably the same thing. Hopefully this is more refined than that one because that was pretty bad.
And I think just with the naming, I think they're skipping Note 6. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah.
I can't because they want to get everything on a 7. So it's the S7, S7 Edge, and the Note 7. So hopefully the next one will be 8, etc. So good move. I don't mind it. Skip the 6. Who cares? The second one is a good one from Google. So as you've known, Oculus is out there, the HTC Vive is out there, but nothing from Google except the cardboard, obviously. They've set up some frameworks around Daylight. Is it called Daylight?
Daydream.
No, Daydream.
Yes.
So that's still happening. But Recode published an article saying that, it's killed the project that would have competed directly with Oculus Rift. So things decided not to play in that game. But what it does say is they're actually moving some people onto another project. And sources say that this particular headset, will not require a computer or a phone to power. It's going to be a standalone. It will have a screen. It will
AKA HoloLens.
Yes.
Okay.
So it will feature more in line with AR systems rather than existing VR systems. So
I hear AI is quite hot right now.
now you can play Pokemon and wear that thing on your face.
Do that motion with your hands.
Yeah, do that motion. Yeah, we were talking about this afternoon. Do you flick your head back and forth and throw balls? It'd be quite funny.
Yeah.
So I think they see a lot of competition in VR. They're not going to mess with that. They're going to set up Daydream, do an Android thing, and then look at Microsoft and go, hey, we're coming for you.
Could this also be like Google Glass version 5.7?
Yeah, because as we've reported, in a couple of 10s and 20 episodes ago, that, Google Glass is making a comeback. And this is I think they almost were too early for their times in that sense when we always spoke about that. Now that Pokemon Go is taken over, it makes sense for them to make a comeback.
Yeah. All right, so look forward to that one. Stay on Google. So I've been changing my passwords, trying to make my my presence online more secure, because there've been a lot of hacks and it's a bit scary, and a lot of my social accounts are based on Google. So while in resetting the password, not resetting but changing the password, I got a message from Google when I tried to log into my account saying that now it's called My Activity.
Interesting.
So I've been like, in some ways it's scary, but in some ways I feel safer because reportedly it gives you more control on what you're doing, and Google knows what apps that I'm opening. So in this sort of timeline sort of view, it tells me now that I'm on Android, like even what apps that I'm using, what times I'm using, how long I've been using them, and how often, that sort of thing. And also every single website that I visit. What else? My location data.
I'm guessing you can opt out of My Activity.
So I think you can do a mass opt out.
Okay.
You can also control that as well.
Because I know when I was on Android, you could do this on the web.
Right.
You can log into your account and actually look and listen to all your creepy voice activations.
So I do use the voice search quite a bit, and especially the hot words is a bit scary because it actually when you play it back from Google My Activity, it plays the part before you say "Okay Google," so it feels like it's always recording. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's creepy.
Yeah, so it makes sense. Okay, after "Okay Google," you should sort of record that part, but it's actually recording even before you say "Okay."
But I
Google.
guess it has to listen to hear "Okay Google."
Yeah. Okay, so when it triggers, then it says record from now, or is it always recording and then delete?
I don't
quite get that. Yeah.
I think it's recording on a very low sort of fidelity, and then it deletes. You know what I mean? I think it's ephemeral. You know what I mean? I think it records 5 seconds, doesn't hear it, delete. Records 5 seconds, doesn't hear it, delete. Maybe.
Possibly. Who knows, right?
Somehow. Who knows?
Yeah, so I think, if you do have a Google account, and I think most of you would have that, it's worth checking out. The other thing I did was control sort of my ads. So like sometimes you get some ridiculous ads.
Yeah.
And there's something like 250 categories of ads that you can be shown. Yeah. And I've selected, maybe I'll sort of whittle that down to maybe, 30 or 40.
Yeah. And I think it's worth doing. I think, if you're using Google services, it's free. You're going to get ads. You might as well get good ones because you never know. I think they're getting better at that. But the thing I like about this, before you freak out about your privacy being taken, etc., it is full transparency.
Yeah.
And I'd rather have that. And it's kind of comical anyway, because we were just listening to some of the voiceovers that I interrupted.
Yeah. So, I mean, people are freaking out about this in the last couple of weeks because now it's more visible. Yeah. But it's not like this is a new thing for them. No. Like, they've always done it. Now they're making it more, available for you to, control and manage.
I mean, for crying out, they're reading your emails, man. Like, you don't worry about the voiceover. They're reading your personal emails to give you ads, people.
So what was the example when we watched Ghostbusters? Because I booked it online and obviously I got the confirmation email. So, 30 minutes before the actual session, it gave me a calendar reminder saying, hey, you're going to go watch Ghostbusters.
And this is on Google Now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's the thing I miss about Android, really. Yeah.
And it even told me like what seat numbers as well, because it scanned through the email. Anyway. So you're listening to the Lazy Couch Podcast. My name is Jeff Kim.
And I'm Calvin Lee. This is your weekly fix for tech news, gadgets, movies, and pop culture. If this is your first time listening to us, don't forget to subscribe. In the meantime, let's move to our feature of the day.
Well, I mean, there's this little hole. It was kind of an aesthetic choice by the architect, and if you shoot a laser into this hole, the station blows up.
But I mean, can't we board it up or, put some plywood over it or something?
Well, that would look terrible. I mean, we got to think about resale.
All right, so we're going to plug up that hole?
Yeah, we can get it done tomorrow if price is no object. We'll get estimates.
Get estimates, yeah.
So the feature this week is Star Wars Celebration that's happening in London. Star Wars Celebration Europe, to be more exact. This is a pretty cool thing. Rogue One is a big feature movie that's coming out in December. So obviously a lot of the cast and crew and the director was there. We had stuff from Han Solo movie, also the Rebels season or the Rebels series. Sorry. Which you're a big fan of.
Yeah, no, I love the animation series, all the way from Clone Wars, to now Rebels. So yeah, no, it looks like it looks like everyone was there.
That's right, yeah. Even what's her face? The Chrome Stormtrooper. She was the
Brianna of Tarth from Game of Thrones.
Yes, her. She was the MC for the Rogue One panel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So let's just go through the cast and the director. The main director is Gareth Edwards, of course. He directed Godzilla. That's his main movie, which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, it was not too bad.
Really stylistic and kind of scary as well. The other sort of one he did previously to that was Monsters, which is a quiet little indie flick. I haven't seen that yet, but
I've heard good things about that as well.
Okay, so there's a cast of thousands in this movie. So let's just go through them one by one. Felicity Jones, Jin Erso, she's the main character. She's been on Theory of Everything with Stephen Hawking, the Stephen Hawking movie. So she was there. Diego Luna is a Mexican actor. He's going to be playing Cassian Andor. I don't know if he's from Andor, Planet Andor.
Yeah.
It's very sad things going to happen to him later on. Ellen Tudyk, who plays K2SO, which is the droid in this movie, and he's from the Firefly sort of school, and he's done a lot of voice acting. I went through his IMDb, but
cool.
Yeah, there's a bunch of voice acting for a lot of DC and Marvel and all that sort of stuff. Riz Ahmed, who's a sort of indie actor until now. He's gonna play a character called Bodhi Rook. He's been on Nightcrawler, and apparently he's in the new Jason Bourne as well.
Nice.
So he's making his mark there. Forrest Whitaker, Academy winner. He's playing Saw Gerrera, and that's a character from the Clone Wars.
Yes, that's right.
Even the Rebels as well.
Correct.
Rebels.
Yeah. Not a big part, but I think it's cool that they're pulling. It's canon, so it's cool that they're pulling little characters out.
So he's a old school sort of resistance fighter. He's almost like a terrorist, I suppose, like fighting for freedom and all that sort of stuff against the evil empire. Now the two Chinese. Actually, Donnie Yen's not Chinese, is he?
He's from Hong Kong.
He's from Hong Kong. Okay.
Yeah. So it's good, yeah.
All right.
It's fine. It's fine.
So Donnie Yen, he plays, I have no idea how to pronounce this, but it's Chirrut Imwe, I think.
Yeah, so he's a blind character.
He is, yeah, but he's not a Jedi Knight because I think Jedis have been wiped out by then, but he sort of believes in the Force. He's a very spiritual character, and he's a bit like a daredevil, maybe.
I think for those who don't know who Donnie Yen is, he's the Jet Li of my adulthood, where, Jet Li was, I watched Jet Li growing up because I grew up in Asia from when I was a kid, and then you saw him in really awful roles in Lethal Weapon, etc. And his career sort of padded out. Yeah. And then came on to Donnie Yen. So he's like the Chinese action superhero. He's like, Jackie Chan status now, Donnie Yen. He's practically in every Chinese action movie right now. So he's a big star.
Yeah, he's a big star from Ip Man series.
Yeah, because Star Wars is not very well known in China. So I think they're probably going to use this to try and catapult themselves into that. Yeah. So no, Donnie Yen, good actor, great martial artist. Can't wait to see how he plays this blind guy in Rogue One.
All right. So the second Chinese actor is Wen Jiang. He's playing a guy called Baze Malbus.
That's the funniest name.
Baze Malbus. I think they must have entered the Star Wars name picker game.
Seriously though, it could be Baze Malbus.
Baze Malbus.
Yeah.
Okay. Now he made a little bit of a slip up,
A bit of a doo-doo.
bit of a doo-doo. So he may have given a massive spoiler. We were not going to go into it because, I mean, if you're really interested, feel free to watch the video that we're going to have in the notes. But yeah, it's potentially a massive spoiler there.
So just a heads up. You're choosing to ruin this for yourself. Okay,
Yeah.
we're not going to tell you what the spoiler is, but if you choose to go to the show notes and click on it, don't blame us.
Yes, and this is a massive panel, as I said, and like even Kathleen Kennedy, like the head of Star Wars, basically, she was there. I think, you know, like lucky for Wen, like she wasn't sitting right next to him. She was on the other end of the panel. Okay, there's more characters.
Yeah.
And this is amazing. Mads Mikkelsen, who's an amazing Swedish actor. He's playing Jin Erso's father, Galen Erso. So if you don't know this guy, he's a great actor. He's the main guy in Hannibal. He is Hannibal.
Yeah.
He's also been in one of my favorite movies, The Hunt, which is an amazing Swedish movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched all 3 seasons of Hannibal. My wife's a big fan. He played such a good Hannibal.
Right.
Creepy as hell.
Yeah, he's got that sort of face, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So his character is kind of like he's the who invented the nuclear bomb? Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer. Yeah. So he's kind of like that. He sort of built this like laser technology that kind of led to the Death Star. So he's sort of like kind of torn like that, which is going to be really cool to see. Aussie actor Ben Mendelsohn. He's going to be director Orson Krennic. And I think if you've seen the trailer or the teaser, he's the guy in that sort of white Imperial uniform.
Nice.
So he plays a badass, and he actually entered the panel in uniform with his the Black Stormtroopers,
The Knights of Ren. No,
not just yet. That's
Not just yet.
a few episodes later.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth a look if you're a fan, and I'm really looking forward to it. Like they also played the reel, like the behind the scenes kind of stuff, which went for about 3 minutes. You know, you had all the characters talking about how, you know, like everything is practical effects, makes it real, all the explosions, all the characters, all the aliens, all the robots. So really looking forward to this.
Yeah, we're going to put the video on the show notes. They give you sort of behind the scenes type scenario, and you know, they're literally things blowing up, they're getting hit by debris and stuff. So it looks really cool.
Yes, I think there's a little bit with the director Gareth Edwards. He said something like, "Oh, you know, we want to pay tribute to the original series, but not too much, you know, because otherwise, you know, what else, what new thing are you bringing to the table, sort of thing." I think it was a little shot to JJ.
Yeah, I know.
The other thing I'm really looking forward to is the relationship between Cassian and KS2O or K2SO, sorry.
Yeah.
So they're apparently like best friends.
Oh, that's never happened before.
But K2SO is like a reprogrammed droid from the Imperial Army.
Right.
So like somehow like he rescued him from that, and now they're best buddies. So I'm really looking forward to that dynamic.
Yeah, it could be the comedic effect that this movie needs.
The other confirmation, and this is probably not a spoiler, hopefully, but I mean, well, it probably is if you know nothing about it. But Darth Vader is going to be in Rogue One. And he's going to be voiced by James L. Jones.
So this is going to be a very young Darth Vader.
Yeah, I don't know. How old is Darth when?
I mean, this
Star
is
Wars 4 begins?
shortly after Annie became Darth Vader, right?
Apparently, like, this movie will go right up to it's like 15 minutes before the very first Star Wars.
Wow.
Yeah, so it just leads on to when Darth Vader aboards the ship.
Yeah,
the alien
amazing.
ship, yeah.
Amazing.
May the Force be with us.
All right, Han Solo movie.
The Han Solo movie.
That's right.
Always wanted to do that.
Yeah, so they had a panel there. They had the directors. It's a dual sort of director thing, Phil Lord and Chris Miller. Now, these guys are really cool. I don't know if you know much about them, but they did the Lego movie.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So it's going to be a very fun movie, I feel like. And they introduced Alden Ehrenreich.
Oh, you did that well. I would have butchered his last name.
Yeah. So that's it's really cool because these guys are actually same as my age. And you know, they've also done Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. They did 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So do we have any idea what the story is yet?
So this is gonna be, I guess, pre-Rogue One. I think Han Solo is gonna be like maybe in the mid-20s.
Okay.
Yeah. So Kelvin, the other panel that I really enjoyed watching over the weekend was the archaeology panel.
Sounds riveting.
Star Wars archaeology. So like, you know, some of these panels have really quirky names, and you're just like, oh, what is this thing about? Are they actually going to go through some of the things in Tatooine, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah.
But no, this is more about the design aesthetics, I think. Sort of uncovering some of that archaeology and the history and that sort of, I don't know, it's such a rich thing, right? The design aesthetics of Star Wars, I think. You know, if you look back at the 70s when these guys were coming up with these interfaces, some of that is still coming through to modern design, which is amazing. So you had guys like John Knoll, who's the Chief Creator Officer. I would love that title for Disney and Star Wars.
CCO.
Doug Chiang, who's the VP Executive Creative Director. He sort of got famous through the prequel trilogy, but he's a pretty cool guy. And also Kevin Jenkins, who's the like supervising art director of The Force Awakens. So like really amazing minds. They talked about how, you know, they recreated the plans of the Death Star, because in Rogue One it's about the plans of the Death Star. So they took that. I think there was like one scene in the control room where the very crude like graphic, the point graphic. You know, digital in the 70s wasn't that great back then. That was an amazing feat of engineering back then, but now it's like quite easy to do. But then to recreate it in pixel detail apparently was quite hard. And they went through frame by frame from the original movies to do this.
Frame by
so
frame.
it's really worth seeking out this video to see some of that. The Death Star and the Star Destroyer. So they actually used the combination of the 3-foot model and the 8-foot model. So if you're a Star Wars nerd, like you know that's how they shot the space scenes. They had two different models, and apparently the details of each models were different. So
how long did this panel go for?
It went for a whole hour. I watched the whole thing.
Oh god!
While I was cooking, of course.
So it's more documentary type.
Yeah.
Sort of, you know. Panel.
Yeah. The other interesting thing that John Knoll especially touched on was he sort of tried to build from our memory of what we thought Star Wars was like.
Wow,
back in the 70s, rather than the actual.
Cool.
So like when we sort of think about those, you know, the Star Destroyer sort of approaching planets, we sort of think, oh, like the shadow side has lights. But apparently that wasn't actually in the movie.
So they put it in.
So they put it in.
Smart.
Like, things like that. The Stormtrooper helmet, like they wanted to recreate the original, but you know, I guess due to budget constraints back in the 70s, like they didn't like they would put like stickers for grills and things like that. So they improved that for Rogue One as well. Doug Chiang, he talked about using cardboard models, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
So it's like really rapid way of you know, showing the director the set design, and you know, you can really get into that sort of you know, the models are, I guess, about 1 foot high.
Scaled,
yeah. So the director would actually, you know, really get in there to pick out the shots.
That's cool. I mean, it saves you so much money.
It does, yeah. And yeah, they use miniatures. So we think the original prequels, not the original prequels, the prequels, episodes 1, 2, and 3, it's just like CGI crap, right? But apparently a lot of those scenes were actually miniatures. But I think they was sort of like colored in a way that's made to look like CGI, but they use actual miniatures.
Now that sounds like a waste of money.
So yeah, I think he's got a lot of learnings from that. So lots of geeky stuff. We'll put all these links to the videos in the show notes, so definitely check it out.
Yeah, no, it sounds good.
The other couple of things before we move on. So we talked about ILM X Lab. It's a branch of ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, that's working on VR. I think with Oculus, was it? I think it was Oculus. Don't quote me on that, but they announced in one of the panels that there's going to be a VR film about Darth Vader.
Interesting, because ILMX Lab, I think it was the story that we covered last week on Magic Leap as well. They're doing an AR thing.
Yeah.
So they're doing both VR and AR stuff. Star Wars, those greedy, no good.
And I wonder if it's something to do with the theme parks that they're building as well. Disney are building the Star Wars world, right? Yeah.
I saw a great panning shot of that theme park. It looks amazing.
Yeah. So I can't wait. The other sort of big news for me was that General Thrawn, who's been like a much Ooh, I don't know what sort of character is he. He's been in the comics and
he's been in everything.
in the books, but now he's going to be part of Rebels season 3, which makes it canon.
Oh,
Yes.
interesting.
So he's like a blue face. I don't know what alien race he is.
Yeah, he sort of wears this white sort of general type suit.
Yeah.
He's got red eyes.
Yeah.
Pretty cool though. Really creepy guy. Creepy.
Yes. Rebels, in general, I thought got a massive reaction.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen Rebels yet.
Have you? How's your Clone Wars?
I finished season 1.
Congratulations.
So 24 episodes later, like I was still surviving. But slowly going to get through them. I really want to watch Rebels as well. Like I got a bit of a spoiler on what happens at the end of season 2, but that's okay. I think I kind of knew where Ahsoka was going.
You can get away without watch. You can watch Rebels without watching.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And I think I'm sort of like really drawn into Ahsoka's character now. Like,
yeah, no, she's amazing. She's
amazing.
Probably my favorite character out of the animated world of Star Wars.
So if you talk about like other solo or backstory films in the Star Wars story sort of saga, like I reckon she would be high on my list.
Yeah, definitely.
I think they're talking about Ewan McGregor's character, Obi-Wan.
Qui-Gon Jinn? No. Obi-Wan.
So yeah, I would say Ahsoka over Obi-Wan.
Definitely, because there is no strong female Jedi. She's
not until episode 7.
Yeah, she's probably it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so whoa, long episode, Kelvin.
Yeah.
So we got a chance to listen to some technology news and also a whole heap on Star Wars. Next week, we're gonna be doing San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah,
so that's happening over the weekend.
It's usually a big one. Probably lots is going to be announced there. Do you have any sneak peeks for us in terms of what's going to be out?
Yes, so there's a Nerdist article, of course. They've kind of teasing us with Doctor Strange poster. Have you seen the poster?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It looks amazing.
It's it's like an oil painting.
Yeah.
Classical style. He's kind of like flying, I suppose, with his big red cape in the back. Sort of like the Force, sort of. What is it? What is magic in the Marvel universe? What is that?
It's
not
dark
metachlorians.
Arts. Yeah.
The dark arts.
No, it's really interesting. I also see here that there's also going to be a lot on Suicide Squad because that's opening around the same time.
Yeah.
So it's going to be amazing.
Yes, I mean, like having gone to Supernova in Sydney, like that's that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But San Diego Comic-Con is on that times a million even, I think. I was actually going through the whole schedule over the weekend, and I really want to go next year, Kelvin.
So I know. We'll plan.
Let's make that happen.
Let's make that happen. I mean, because they're going to be covering things like Fast 8 as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be amazing.
Oh, the Dark Tower.
Oh,
series,
yeah. Is that the Idris Elba one?
Yeah. So it's a Stephen King, one of his like best books or series of books.
I haven't read that one.
I haven't read, but heard very good things. But it's a favorite of a lot of my friends. So yeah, Comic-Con next week.
Big one.
And in the meantime, though, if you wanted to contact us, send us a shout out on Twitter at The Lazy Couch or The Lazy Couch Podcast at gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. Send us some comments. You can search for The Lazy Couch Podcast to find us. Our website is thelazycouch.com. If you're listening to us on iTunes and any other podcast app, just quickly rate us, and yeah, that's gonna help us a lot.
Yep. Subscribe to our newsletter on the website as well, thelazycouch.com, and hang out for this episode's outro. I think it's gonna be amazing.
Okay,
Kelp out.
Jeff out.
You want to set us up, man? What are we reading here, man?
All right, Harry Potter, written by artificial intelligence. This is the headline of the Medium article by Max Deutsch.
Yep.
Published on 8th of July.
So this guy trained this neural network with 4 Harry Potter books, and then it wrote this Harry Potter book. So we're just going to read it out.
I think wrote is kind of stretching it.
Okay, you go.
All right, I'm just going to go straight to part 2 here.
Okay, part 2. Part 2 is the good bit. Okay, you do the first 3 and I'll do the next 3.
Ron didn't even upset her little ingredients on the toilet in a group of 30 girls last year. Highly bushy, and then burst away from them quickly. "Thought you were alright," he said. Harry grinned at Harry. "Why should she be cheerful so while you gave detentions, Moody?"
Or give them a hang of the fires and tell me. They'll come and finish me in this Quidditch diggory all bin and animagus like a moment, Dumbledore snapped. "Sorry, I think you please. It will be waiting for you after this, and it's like if Dobby had learned to register this. So, it's safe to say that computers won't be writing books anytime soon."
I can't get over the little ingredients on the toilet.
I can't get over Quidditch diggory all bin and animagus like a moment.
Is that like a spell in the books? I never read the book.
I know.